Hey, welcome to Wolf's Watch. It is Wednesday. You know what that means? Good news you can use today. Your weekly dose of positivity. There's just a lot going on in the world, right? And there always is. These times, certainly economically, as a business owner, right? There's a lot more going on as a consumer. There's a lot going on. Yeah, today, taking a break from all the other types of news, just to bring you a couple curated items from around the internet. So, hey, let's dive right in. Here's something that I just thought was so cool. Check this out. 83-year-old man sails alone from San Francisco to Japan. 83 years old. Did this by himself, no one else with him, in a 19 feet long sailboat. Imagine that. That's like maybe one third the length of the size of the waves that you're liable to encounter on the open ocean in the Pacific. Waves get big. I mean, we have stuff like that. So his boat's 19 feet long. It's not unusual for us here in Los Angeles during the winter months, especially if there's a storm, to get 20 plus feet waves. Doesn't happen all that often, but it happens on the open water. Oh my gosh, what a risk. But this guy at 83 did it, and this wasn't the first time he did it. So check this out. I'm going to scroll down a little bit on this, and I'm looking over here to make sure I get the right information as always. So when he was 23, he became the first person ever to sail alone across the Pacific. 23 years of age. Imagine that. Now that time he went from Japan to San Francisco, and it took 94 days. All he ate was rice and canned food, and he had one tiny little radio for communication. They had better gear this time going back the other direction, and it only took him 60 days. So he did better by a month than when he was younger. And he's still, he has done this multiple times. So he's going to continue doing it because he likes to spotlight what a great resource the ocean is. And we need to care for it, right? So good news layered on top of good news. What are you going to be doing when you're 83? If you're already 83, what are you doing? Ready for an adventure like that? Come on, life's an adventure. Enjoy it. Savor it. Our next story, as I'm setting this up, is something that is equally amazing. Hang on a second. As we're bringing this one up, you're going to love this. So this comes from theweek.com. Next chapter, retired teacher drives mobile bookstore across the U.S. So imagine that. There we go. So thanks to theweek.com, we got this story. So it says here, because she lives in a tiny Montana town with a population of just 1,517, there wouldn't be enough customers to sustain her bookstore. So what she did, bookstore/library. So what she's doing, she's driving across the country, taking books to kids all over the country, creating a mobile bookstore. Mobile bookstore instead of doing a local bookstore. So how cool is that? Brick and mortar bookstores, very few around, right? Very few around. Remember my favorite of all time, the Either Or bookstore from Hermosa Beach. If you were ever in the South Bay area in the 80s and 90s, you probably, or before that, it was around for a long time in Hermosa Beach. Had to relocate and is much smaller size. But they had some very eclectic book collection, a lot of things you couldn't find. Rare books, not rare books like collectors kind of things, but just odd and rare things that you wouldn't find in one of the main brand places. Well, this teacher is, as her next act, her next gig, if you will, in retirement, is driving across the country, taking books to kids everywhere so that they can, learn the enjoyment of reading, learn the enjoyment of self-education from that, and, spreading let me put it this way, spreading self-determination, because self-education is a key to that, right? I mean, woe be to the people that say, hey, I'm done with high school. I'm never going to read a book again, or college even. Right? The average American reads one book a year. The average. So that means there's a lot of people that aren't reading. Right. And so we read stuff online. But books do a deeper dive. So it's great to see this teacher is taking that to children, and it's a great innovation, right? In a time of electronics and time of other alternatives where you can just go online, order a book, have it drop shipped to you instead of going to a library, instead of going to a bookstore. In this case, taking the books to the kids. It's just absolutely amazing. Since you've been to 30 states, can't imagine a better way of spending time than the traveling bookstore, she says. She told the show today. Over 600 books on the shelves. How cool is that? What are you doing? What kind of innovation are you pursuing so that you can bring more, share what you know, share what you love with the world around you, especially with the generations that are coming up behind you? So let's take a look. Next good news story that we've got. This is another fun one. Where is it? 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 I know it's there. I know it's there. Here it is. Courtesy of Fox.com. They're going to put this in big headlines. Check this out. This deserves big headlines because Massachusetts restaurant worker receives a $2,000 tip with a winning lottery ticket. You never know, right? What a tip that is. Surprise people. How fun would that be to get a scratcher for a couple bucks and just slip that in? You ever do that just as a birthday present or something fun for someone that's maybe, needs a smile, needs some reason to smile for a few minutes? It'd be kind of fun. And you never know what's going to happen. There's that anticipation of waiting. Are they going to win? Are they not going to win? And in this case, somebody won $2,000. How cool is that? Shirley Rose, a Kowloon restaurant employee, was filling in for a coworker when she received the lucky tip. How do you like that? So she's doing a favor for someone else, and ends up with a unexpected $2,000 tip. My gosh, have you seen something like that happen? Or have you ever been part of something like that? I mean, what would it take to kick in $1, $2 for a couple of lottery numbers to slip in just as something fun as a present for someone that you see doing, that you caught doing a good job, that you caught doing something for someone else just out of the goodness of their heart because it was the right thing to do. We get what we reward, we get what we focus on, right? Don't ask me how I learned those lessons. And here we go, our last story. Where is it? This is just kind of a fun one. This is an on this day. History can be fun. History can be poignant. And in this case, would you believe now I got to remember looking over here to make sure I get the right date for you. In 1869, on this day in 1869, in Chicago, Ives M. McGaffey patented the first vacuum cleaner, ushering in a whole new standard of cleaning and keeping houses clean. It was supposed to be something that would help in the home with more productivity, cut down the amount of time. And guess what? Actually created more work because now the expectation is that things are cleaner, which is just kind of a fun, how there's always an intended and unintended consequence on things, right? Think about that. But it's just kind of fun. At first, here's what caught my eye on this. The name of it was, you ready for this? Here's a marketing mastery moment. The name of the first patented vacuum cleaner. You ready for it? Sweeping machine. Sweeping machine. That was what he called it. That's on the patent. And we've come to know that type of device, that type of machine, as a vacuum cleaner. Changed everything though. And what really another thing that just mind blown moment. 1869. Right. It's just a couple years after the U.S. Civil War. 1869 was when the first vacuum cleaner was patented. Isn't that incredible? These are just little fun tips and tricks. Maybe not tricks, but just fun little tips and news bits from around the web that hopefully, give you pause, a reason to smile. And even if it's just a little smirk, you're like, okay. Or an outright laugh or something that goes, wow, that's totally cool. And think about this. How can you apply those kind of things in your life? How can you apply the looking at what happened on this day throughout history? Because sometimes it's something that goes, wow, you know what? I want to dig into that more. There's some lessons to be learned there. Sometimes it's just something fun, like going, you know what? Let's see about that. 1869 is when the first vacuum cleaner was. We're in 2022. What year is it? Oh my gosh, 1869. So that was 153 years ago. It's amazing. It's just surprising. It's sometimes things have been around as way longer or not as long as we might think they have. That's quite a while. That's a lot of vacuum cleaning, a lot of cleaning of floors. 153 years for the vacuum cleaner. But think about that. With as we have some fun with these, again, how might that apply in your life? What might you be able to learn from that? If nothing else, it is good to stop and have a smile. Thinking, speaking of applying things in your life, there's been economic turmoil, and next week we're doing our next, our next step in helping bring something to the table, some value to the table, and pushing back on all the economic turmoil, which is the Inflation Negation Challenge. You heard that right. The Inflation Negation Challenge. Say that 10 times really fast. I want to have a fun title for a serious topic. What we're going to do is going to be 5 days, 5 days, no charge. This is a complimentary activity because I want to share things that I've learned over the years, things I've learned from other people over the years about what do you need to do right now in order to thrive, to get your business growing, to just get ahead and stay ahead of your competition during high inflation, during, now we're hearing more and more about recession is imminent. Now, this is good news you can use. Those are just what we're hearing in the headlines, right? So here's the thing. Refuse to participate. Join the challenge. 5 days. We're going to do 5 lunch and learns Monday through Friday, starting on June 13th. That's this coming Monday. And it will be just 60 minutes, one strategy. There's 5 strategies that will make a huge difference. We're going to do one strategy a day, what it is, where it comes from, and then focus most of the time on how do you apply it in your business so that you can move forward, so you get, a stronger business. Think about that. If you join the challenge, you get a chance to talk with other business owners like yourself about what they're doing, how they're applying what we're talking about. What if you can just bring 2 things I want to challenge you with as part of this? Join the challenge with the intention for 2 things: having at least one thing you can take away that makes your business stronger during high inflation, and if we do end up in a recession, which quite frankly seems rather likely. And second, what can you contribute to the other business owners that'll be part of the challenge as well? You got a lot of experience, and this is how these things work. Right? This is a conversation, just like Wolf's Watch. This is going to be live conversation. It's not going to be recorded. We're again doing it complimentary because we're all in this together. And my mission is, to help spread independence, self-determination. I think it'd be a better way to put that. One business at a time. The more that your business grows, the more opportunities are created for others. Certainly for you and your family, but also for others too, right? CEO, continually expanding opportunities. So the Inflation Negation Challenge. To get more, learn more about that, go to inflationnegationchallenge.com. You can see it on the banner that's been scrolling here below. And thanks for being part of Wolf's Watch. As always, this is good news you could use. I'm Wolf, and I will see you